Hey guys, thanks for joining us for an episode of Crew Talk. This week we want to answer the question, is being fit a prerequisite of coming into the gym or is it a result of coming here? And that's a question that you might find yourself asking, especially if you drive by the gym on a regular basis, always wondering whether or not today is the day that you're going to go in through the doors. So to get the answers to those questions, we're going to talk to our friend Patrick Ray here today. Patrick, if you could start off, just give us a little bit of background. Where'd you grow up? Where are you from? That kind of thing.
Sure. Where I grew up is kind of a complicated answer. My father was career military.
Okay.
I moved like 12 times before I was out of high school.
Wow.
So I was born in New York and moved all over the country. Spent some time in England, and then my high school years, I first started in Okinawa, Japan, and then by the time I was leaving the 10th grade, we moved to the mainland Japan. I was at Misawa Air Force Base in Japan.
Okay. All right.
I graduated.
So were you born in New York City or upstate?
Long Island.
Long Island. Oh, okay. All right. So was your dad Army or?
So at that time, he was in the Navy.
Navy.
He
Okay.
started out in the Navy, and right about the time I was born, he decided to get out of the Navy, finish college, and joined the Air Force.
Air Force. Okay.
So I spent 35 years in the Air Force.
Really? Yeah. What did your dad do?
He started out as a pilot of cargo planes. Then he switched over and he became a navigator of the F-111, the swoop wing airplane.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got grounded for some health conditions and ended up in being the commander of a maintenance squadron.
So where were you at in England? Was it Bentwaters, Upper Hayford?
Upper Hayford.
Upper Hayford. I was at Upper Hayford too.
Really?
Yeah. What years were you? No, that was.
I don't know what years, but I could figure out. But
Yeah.
I was probably fifth, sixth grade, fourth, fifth grade.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
was younger.
I actually closed Upper Hayford.
Did you really?
I led the detail that took down the flag
Oh my.
the very last day.
Oh,
Took
that's
down the
pretty
U.S. flag on Upper Hayford. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. My dad really liked it there. So
It was a great base.
Yeah.
It was. It was a really, really good place to be, and yeah, a lot of F-111s.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty much at the end of the F-111s then.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was a cool plane. I always thought that was one of the coolest looking planes. You know.
Yeah, it was really neat to hear my dad talk about it and some of the things that they did, how they navigated through the mountains with just radar and things of that nature. So.
Oh yeah, that thing could go low and fast,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was it was a kind of the precursor for the original B1. The B1 was kind of built to be a bigger version. The original B1, the
Yeah.
B1A,
Yeah.
was meant to be. The B1B was a lesser model. But anyway, still a cool plane. But and where else were you at in the air growing up?
So we spent some time in, so I was in South Carolina. I was in Texas where my brother was born.
Yep.
Arlington, Texas there. Then we spent a couple tours in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Separate times. We were in Clovis, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
California for a brief stint. My dad had a overseas tour that he couldn't take his family, so
Okay.
my mom and brother stayed in a place in Kansas where the Air Force had a place for families
Okay.
whose husbands were deployed, and then Japan.
Yeah. So you have one brother?
One brother.
Okay. Is he? So he's younger. Yeah.
He is a younger brother. Yep.
Okay. All right. You guys still close or?
Yeah. He lives in Springboro. I live here in Beaver Creek.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
so how did you get to Ohio then?
kind of funny. So after high school, I was in Japan. I joined the Air Force. Didn't really know what to do with my life, so I joined the Air Force. I was on a delayed enlistment, so 6 months after high school, I was in the Air Force. I was stationed at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. I was taught to be a welder and then a machinist.
Yep.
While I was in Virginia, I got deployed to Saudi Arabia, where I spent 9 months there during the Gulf War, first
Okay.
Gulf War.
First one. Yeah.
And then when I got out of the air or got back stateside, I realized I shouldn't be a welder, shouldn't be a machinist. I need to finish college. So they had a program at the time called Palace Chase.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if you take the remaining time on your original enlistment, which let's call it 2 years, and double it, and if things work out and the stars align, you can transfer to the Air National Guard, which I did. I transferred to Rickenbacker because my parents had moved from Japan while I was in the Air Force to Wright-Patt.
Okay.
So I came back here, and then I transferred to Springfield Air National Guard Base and went to Wright State.
Okay. All right. And did you graduate Wright State? What'd you major in?
Accounting and finance.
It's a long way from being a welder.
A long ways away.
Yeah.
But it was more suited for me. So accounting and finance, and spent, I had some college before that, but I took about 3 years there and finished at Wright State. My parents, when my brother and I were in college, my dad got deployed to Hill Air Force Base in Utah.
Okay. Did you continue with the Guard, or?
I stayed in the Guard for 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And so, what did you do after that?
So after that, I joined. I had finished college, and I joined a small CPA firm in Dayton, and I was there about 4 years. And then I went to a company called Standard Register, a printing and communications company, where I spent 17 years, and they went out of business. And then now I work for Premier Health.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm the director of finance in their finance division, and I've been there over 10 years now.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, healthcare industry, man, no danger of that going out of business.
Nope.
Yeah. So you're married.
I am.
How'd you meet your wife? When did you meet her?
I met her. We've been married just around 19 years now.
Okay.
And I met her about a year and a half before that. So
okay.
All right. A little over 20 years. I met her after college.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. An ex-girlfriend of mine actually introduced me to her, and it's been a hit ever since.
That's what ex-girlfriends are good for.
They are.
I had a current girlfriend who introduced me to my wife and then became my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
So yeah.
There you go.
So how was that? How was getting married? I mean,
it was good.
You'd been a bachelor up until that point, right?
I had. So I got married late in life. I was about 36 years old when
okay.
I finally settled down. And she was a little bit older as well. I'd taken her time. It was a great experience. It took us probably another 4 years to have kids. So.
Okay. All right. And how many kids do you have then?
I have 2. I have a daughter and a son.
Okay. All right. And how old are they now?
My daughter is 15 and my son's 13.
Oh.
So high school and
yeah.
junior high. So fun times.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely good times. I mean, I had a period of time I call the interregnum with my boys, where it was like from about 15 to 20 or something like that, where we kind of tolerated each other's presence for the most part, and then so we had been really close before that, and then we're really close now,
yep.
Okay, but there was that 5 years period where it was like, okay, let's just not kill each other for the next 5 minutes, you know? Yeah. Yeah. But it's good.
It is.
Because it leads to grandkids, and grandkids are the best.
Yes. So I would imagine.
Yeah. So you're an accountant. I can't relate to that at all. So I always laugh and say that I majored in journalism because of my math.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I went back to school years later, and I was in night school. Okay. And so I had to go in and take algebra. All right. Just 101.
Yep.
Okay. And you had to take a math placement test. And so I sat down and I did like the first 3 questions, and I faintly remembered something about factoring, and I went back up, took the paper back up to the guy, and he said, well, you didn't complete the test. And I was like, look, let's not kid each other, okay? Just put me in the Math for Dummies class, all right, and we'll just get done. And so that's what they did. But
that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But you like math. Janelle's the same way. Janelle, it's like, she loves numbers. It just makes sense to her.
It's always seemed to work for me. So
yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. So
yeah.
I work with a lot of really good people too. So it's fun when you work with a good crew.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, if you work with people that you really enjoy, that does make a big difference.
It does, certainly does.
So let's talk about your fitness. So growing up, like as a kid, did you play any little league or
I did.
Soccer or anything?
Yeah. So as a young kid, I played soccer and then intramural baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always a very small kid.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed sports a lot. So soccer and baseball. And then once I got into high school, I kind of fell in love with playing football.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What position did you play in football?
So my first year I was on the defense. I was
Yeah.
kind of a linebacker kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second year, I actually was quarterback.
Really?
And then my last year that I played, I started as quarterback, and our running back blew out his knee, so I moved over to running back and played. So.
Okay.
Now, I was in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had a graduating class of 69 people, so it's not like they had a lot of selection.
Right. Yeah. But it's fun.
It is.
You know?
It was fun. I love competition.
Yeah.
And I loved, just the work and being the camaraderie with the team. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, after you got into the Air Force, did you still continue any sort of fitness, or did you?
See that? I mean, that's the sad part of the story is, I went decades really without meaningful workout. I consider myself a runner for a time period. I did 2 marathons.
Okay.
And I've done a half dozen or so half marathons and the 5Ks.
Yep.
Nothing's fast, nothing special, but I would jog in the evenings and stuff like that. I would do push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that. And then occasionally join a gym and kind of try to do my own thing, but nothing where I would consider myself fit.
Yeah. There's a certain element of fitness involved in being able to run for a distance like that, but but certainly, like we would say in CrossFit, you got to be able to develop muscle and strength and things like that as well. So
absolutely.
Now a lot of people, become a little more sedentary. They gain weight. You're kind of a small guy. You didn't have any problems with weight, I would imagine.
Not really, although when I started here, I lost 17 pounds. So
okay.
I was starting to get heavy for myself.
Okay. All right.
And nothing completely overweight, but just not comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah. So what led you to decide to try and CrossFit?
Well, you started this conversation by whether fitness is a prerequisite or not for coming to the gym. For years, I thought to do CrossFit, you'd have to be fit.
Yeah.
And my wife and I live just down the street, and we watched this place being built. And I kept telling her, I need to get in there. I need to check out what that place is about. And it took me only 8 years to finally show up on a Saturday one day and kind of stop in.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what prompted you to do it? I mean, how did you find the courage to come in? Because I agree, it's kind of a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I have type 1 diabetes, and I had recently had a checkup where my A1C was not great.
Yeah.
Not horrible, but it wasn't great. And my doctor told me I needed to lose some weight and get more active, and that would help. So I kind of in one ear and out the other for a week or two, and then I finally was just on a random Saturday, was driving by, and I said, I'm just going to do it. And I walked in. It was at the end of the 10:30 class, so there was one coach in here, I think it was Ryan, and he was just wrapping up, and he spent a few minutes with me. He just kind of told me what it was about and encouraged me to drop in on Monday.
Yep.
And so I did that, and I've been coming I started out pretty slow. I would come 3 days a week or so.
Sure.
And then at the end of my first year, I hurt my shoulders, so I kind of slowed down even more. But once they started feeling better, this year's been much better.
Yeah.
Much better. But yeah, it just started with, finally getting fed up with my lack of fitness. Kind of doctor encouraged me to get in better shape, and saying that would help my diabetes a lot.
Yeah.
And so I said, I gotta do this. I'm not getting any younger.
So you said you lost 17 pounds when you started.
I did.
And so you're happier with your weight now?
I am.
Is your diabetes a lot more stable now? Or?
It is. It actually is. So, it's always, diabetes is, it's a science experiment every day.
Yeah. Yes.
And you have your highs and lows. I always think of it as a roller coaster ride, because you're going down, you're doing really well, so you kind of take some time off and you get relaxed, and then it starts going the wrong way. And then you just got to keep maintaining it. But it is much better now as a reflection of working out here.
Mm-hmm. Have you learned, or what have you learned as a result of, because I know exercise can sometimes really impact your blood sugars.
Yeah.
What have you? How do you manage that? Do you eat something before you work out, or?
So when I first started here, I always had this notion that a hard workout could make my blood sugar crash. So I would eat something before I came here and made sure my blood sugar was higher than it should be, but not out of control, so that if it made me crash, I'd had room to manage it.
Yeah.
But what I was finding is I'd leave here, my blood sugar would stay high for a long period of time. So through some trials and playing around, I realized I actually need to be pretty low, because most of the workouts here actually spike my blood sugar a little bit. Okay. So I start out not super low, but at a moderate level, and technology makes it a lot easier these days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've, like the last 6 months, I would say that I've kind of figured it out, and for the most part, I leave here and I'm in a pretty good spot. And then it obviously carries throughout the day because of the exercise, and you're healthier and so forth.
Yeah, it's one of the weird things about diabetes. So when I got heavy at one point, and I developed type 2 diabetes, and so my blood sugar was high all the time. Mm-hmm. I wasn't on insulin, and so it never really dropped. Okay. It would just stay high all the time, which, if people don't know, if your blood sugar is high, you can function pretty well. It doesn't really impact you.
Yeah.
Although it's silently killing you
Yes.
at the time that it's doing that, But you just don't feel anything. It's when it drops low that you can, pass out or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because, if you stay high too long, it'll hurt you over the long term. If you go low, it could kind of kill you now.
Yes, that's right.
Depending on how low it goes. But
so it's absolutely, yeah. The doctor at the time wanted to put me on insulin, and I found the way to avoid insulin was just stop going to the doctor.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. So not a great long-term plan.
No.
So that's the thing. I'm glad that you've figured out how to manage it, because that's really the secret. That's something that's really got to be managed, and it takes a lot of work.
It does. It's something you think about all day long. So,
yeah.
But I'm in a much better place with that, and it's a large part thanks to the gym.
Yeah. And one of the things you hear from a lot of people that have diabetes is that they're afraid to work out because they think if they work out, their blood sugar is going to drop, and then they're going to be in bad shape.
Yep.
And you found that's not really the case.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. So what do you think is do you remember what your first workout was when you came in? Was it a 5 a.m. class?
It was a 5 a.m. class.
So you probably had Coach Lilly.
I believe it was Coach Lilly. I don't know exactly what the first workout was, but I recall one of the first workouts had, I believe it was chest to bars in it, and among other things. And I remember feeling absolutely ridiculous because, one, I couldn't do a pull-up, really, maybe one.
Yeah.
And the coach had me pull out a box and doing kind of jumping chest bars. And I felt really silly. I have people like Jason out there just, pumping it up. A lot of people were doing it with bands or other things, but they were doing really well. And I distinctly remember, I believe it was Jason, who looked at me because he could clearly see I felt uncomfortable and silly. He's like, trust the process, trust the coaches. You're still going to get a good workout in, and over the long term, it's going to help improve that technique. And he was right. So.
You mean Jason McGrogan?
Yep.
Yeah. He's been doing CrossFit a long time. He knows. Yeah. Yes. Trust the process is so important.
It is, and it's I've stuck with it, and still can't do chest bars, but I can do like chest or a bar to Adam's apple or something.
I know you've got pull-ups, so you definitely got good pull-ups. So
thank
you. I want to say one of the very first classes I went to. So I had been working out on my own before I started doing CrossFit, and I thought I was kind of fit, and so she said, hey, do a pull-up, and so can anybody do a pull-up? And I said, yeah, I can do a pull-up, because I used to do like sets of 30 pull-ups, right? And it was like, so I jumped up on the bar and I was about this position here, and I pulled myself up. And she's like, okay, now lower yourself all the way down. So I lowered down to there. And she's like, no, all the way down. And I was like, okay. She's like, no, all the way. And I was like there. And she's like, no, now all the way. And I was like, down like this. And she said, now pull up. And I was like, I was like, yeah, it was kind of a rude awakening. I was a little embarrassed,
Yeah.
but
It took a while to feel comfortable, but the class is so welcoming and everybody's so encouraging and the coaches are great. So it made it a lot easier to get through the agonizingly embarrassing part of it.
Yeah, yeah. You really got to check your ego at the door. It really is important, I always say it in some ways I think it was easier for me because I was older,
Yeah.
and so I think a lot of people just didn't expect me to be able to do anything anyway. So it was like, but still, it's like, yeah. It was eye-opening. It was eye-opening for me, having gone from work, like primarily working on machines and doing my own stuff, where I didn't have a coach watching me, nobody trying to correct my technique, nobody holding me accountable to standards. Okay, and then going from that environment to an environment where people are constantly trying to push you to get better, because that's really what it is.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons I've been able to stick with this is because you're right. I've been to the gyms before. I'm doing my own thing and I can't stick with it. But you're here. I love the fact that you're in a class environment, that you're being taught all along the way. You have structure in terms of warm up and then going over the movements and then the workout and cool down. I love the fact that every day is different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variety to it. And then it's not only just the coaches who are great, but your 5 a.m. crew and then the broader community. It's just everybody's so encouraging and it makes it easier to come.
Yeah. The 5 a.m. crew especially is a really good group.
Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of a long-term class. It's a pretty consistent group of people,
Yeah.
But I mean I will say all the classes are the same way. They're really encouraging,
Yes.
Especially if you're struggling in a workout or something like that. There's always somebody who's going to come along and help you, cheer you on or something like that. It's going to help push you through. So
yeah. I found the 5 a.m. classes, I've been to some others and they're all great, you're right. But for me personally, that's the only time that really works in my day.
Yeah.
So from the time I wake up to the time I get home, I mean, that's my time. I can focus on my health, my fitness, without worrying a whole lot about anything else. And then I get out of here and I got the rest of the day to worry about, life and work and things of that nature. So it's my time. It was hard to get in the habit of waking up that early, but it works.
Nobody else is competing for that hour of your day.
That's right.
The rest of the day, your boss wants it, your family wants it. There's all these other competing interests trying to get those hours. Nobody else wants 5 a.m. Okay, except you and sleep.
Yep.
And so
Sure.
if you get up,
Yep.
it's an uncontested hour.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's the great thing about it. I mean, Dean was saying that to me the other day. He's like, "You're retired. Why the hell you're getting up at 5 a.m. to work out?" I was like, "Well, I can go home and take a nap," which I did yesterday. So, yeah. So it's also, something I learned when I was in the Air Force. They say 2 things build camaraderie. There's 2 requirements to build camaraderie. One is shared suffering, and the other is laughter.
Yeah.
And I think if you come to any CrossFit class, there's going to be some laughter, and there's damn sure going to be some shared suffering. Okay.
You check both those boxes.
Yeah, and that's just, I think that's where the community, where the camaraderie really comes from. I know in the military, when they send you into basic training, that's what they try to do. They try to make you suffer and then put you together in an environment where you can lift each other back up.
Yep. I agree
So
with that.
to build that kind of a spirit, So, what do you think about? What are your goals? I mean, as far as like, are you looking to excel, or what are you really kind of looking for?
When I started, I really wanted first to get a nice base fitness level for my age. And then I wanted to build more muscle and more strength. I don't know how, I think I can continue to get more fit and get a little stronger.
Yeah.
But in terms of building muscle, I think those days are by me. Which is okay. I'm happy with where I'm at. I do want to continue to get stronger and continue to advance on some of the techniques. There's still a lot of technique items that I struggle with here in the gym. But I'm just happy coming in, exercising, getting as fit as I can. That's what I guess I really want, is to be as fit as I can as a 55-plus-year-old person.
Yeah.
And just continue to be able to live a life where I'm very mobile and I could do basically whatever I want to. I would like to get stronger and continue just to gain movement on different exercises and so forth. So I don't have any real super big goals other than just to continue to work on this and get as best as I can with the movements and so forth.
Well, CrossFit is one of those things. It's not like bodybuilding. Bodybuilding, people will get actually larger, and you'll see them develop more muscle. I think CrossFit, you're more likely to see. You may not feel like you're gaining muscle, but you really are.
Yeah.
Okay. You may not necessarily gain a lot of size.
Yeah.
Okay. But through focused technique, you get stronger because you have the ability to use the muscle mass that you have in a more productive way.
Yeah.
And that I think is really important because that also translates into life.
Yes.
Yes. It's one thing to be able to pump out, a 300-pound bench press on a machine. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. Or make, really big arms or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a different thing to be able to actually do work and function as a human.
Yeah. I think, just the process of doing this, I got a little bit more defined, but it goes beyond the fitness level. One of the biggest compliments that I've received with coming here, it was, probably 6 months, 7 months after I started here. My daughter said that she thought that I was happier, I was nicer, more calm. And she made that comment.
Yeah.
So she actually noticed. She had been joking around with, like my arms and so forth and complimenting me as a child does. But that comment about how it's translated into how I interact with my family and so forth. So
that's 1,000 times more important than, having an extra inch on your biceps or something like that.
100%.
Yeah. That's so much the stuff that matters. So, and also I think it's also important that you've gotten your diabetes kind of in control.
Yes.
Health and things like that, especially as we get older, right? I was talking to someone recently. I went to the doctor for a checkup, and they complimented me on my blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it was a really good feeling. I felt good. I felt proud about that. My blood pressure matters to me more now in my 60s than it did when I was in my 20s, and I didn't really care, because, now, you're just getting closer to the end.
That's right. You want to preserve as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Greg told me recently, where your objective is to be able to function adequately in life, perform however you want, and then just one day you just drop dead. Okay. And so it's not like this slow kind of descent, which, okay, I didn't really like the drop dead part, but if you think about it, that's, I guess, the better way to go.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to spend the last 10 years of my life in a nursing home or something like that.
That's right. I heard the saying that I'd rather be the oldest person in the gym than the youngest in the nursing home. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I think it goes to show you, that progress doesn't really come from doing. It comes from being willing.
Yeah.
And I think you've shown that you've made a significant amount of progress in the time that you've been here. So.
Thank you. I feel it. I feel like I'm proud of the work that I've done. So.
Yeah. And so if you were going to tell somebody who was on the fence about whether or not they were going to try CrossFit, what would you tell them?
I said, you just need to get in there and try it. And it'll be the best hour of your day. And it doesn't matter where you start at in your fitness journey. I love the fact that everything's scalable and you can do you while making progress at that. So, when I first thought of CrossFit, I thought you had to be in fit shape and really good. And I thought all the exercises were super hard. But and a lot of them are, but you can scale them to your level of fitness. And I think that's the biggest, at least for me, was the biggest misnomer, and it kept me discouraged and afraid to try in. So I didn't want to come in and just be completely embarrassed. But no, you could come in, you got a great group of people that are there to encourage you, and you're going to love it.
So if you're on the fence yourself, or if you have a friend or family member that's on the fence about it, tell them, just walk in the door. That's all you got to do, is just come on in and give it a shot. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click all the buttons and things like that. Otherwise, Patrick, thanks very much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you very much, Darryl. I appreciate it.